Well, for those of you who have been listening for a while, this will not come as a shock to you, but I will not be giving this book 5 stars.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Book on Fantasy podcast.
I'm Addison.
I'm Lorraine, and we are two best friends who explore the world of fantasy through books, shows, and movies, but with a heavy emphasis on books. So this is just our wrap-up, as we talked about in the previous episode covering chapters 79 through 89. We decided to separate the final overall book rating and likes and dislikes and all of that in the interest of not dragging out the episode too long. So this is our final wrap-up for Queen of Shadows. So let's get into it. First off, our ratings for this book. How would you rate Queen of Shadows, Addison?
Well, for those of you who have been listening for a while, this will not come as a shock to you, but I will not be giving this book 5 stars. But I do feel that it is far and away the best book in the series and is my favorite book at this point. I am going to give it a 4.89 stars. Okay. I know that's very specific. There are many, many things I loved about this book, so I feel it would be easier for me to tell you why I shaved off an 11th of a star. My biggest hang up for this book is the development of Rowan and Aylin's relationship. I will explain this in depth in my likes and dislikes, so I'm not going to hash it out here. The second reason I had to shave off some points is 2 parts. I love all the characters. I really do. But at some point, you're juggling so many POVs, it's a little hard to follow, and people inevitably get left out. By my count, there are 9 POVs in this book. And for example, I feel like Adian's POV was a huge part of Heir of Fire, and then he was basically non-existent in this book. He just sort of tagged along everywhere Aylin and Rowan went. I found that a little frustrating. So I don't really, have a solution. I'm not an author, so I don't know how you resolve that. But from a reader, that was a little bit of a hang up for me.
Makes sense. Yeah. And I agree with some of those points.
What did you rate it, Lorraine?
So I think I dug myself into a little bit of a hole because I gave Heir of Fire 5 stars. But this was better than Heir of Fire, and it's not my favorite book of the series so far. I can't give it more than 5 stars. I mean, I could, but then I feel like every other book would just keep going up and up and up too. So, you know what? It just gets 5 stars. But just know that it's better than Heir of Fire, in my opinion. I felt like there was a lot more going on with the expansion of character perspectives, the world, and the plot. We also finally get many answers to our larger questions and close the book on Selena Sardothian so she can finally embrace her path as Queen of Terrasen. So I just loved it. It was very exciting. Moving on to our likes and dislikes. Do you want to go first or should I go first?
I think you should go first.
Oh, okay. We actually both wrote a fair amount for this, but Addison's is longer. So here are my likes and dislikes. I'll start with my likes. I enjoyed checking in with different characters in different parts of the world because I think if we had just stayed in Rifthold with Aylin, I would have found that to be a bit boring. But by switching perspectives and characters, you get to see what the larger picture is while keeping the tension because all of the parties don't know what the others know. So you got a little bit of mystery and intrigue going on between everyone. I also love that Aylin finally closes the chapter on Selena Sardothian, and she and Lysandra get their revenge on Arabin.
Oh, yeah, duh. I can't believe I didn't put that in my likes. Just, add that to mine.
Heir of Fire really helped Aylin work through her anger and I think the emotional side about who she was and what happened to her. But Queen of Shadows finally resolved all of those loose ends of her past. I thought Queen of Shadows also wrapped everything up super well so that we can move on and start defeating the big bad, that is Erewhon. And it was all done in such a surprising way with all these crazy reveals that you never saw coming. As far as my dislikes go, this may actually come as a shock because I love Rowan and Aylin's perspective, and my whole mate theory was like a whole thing. But something I did want more of was POV scenes from Rowan's perspective because we jump from a clear friendship in Heir of Fire to all of a sudden okay, they feel like mates, we don't know how. And I think if we had gotten a couple more scenes from Rowan, either in Wendelin or even right after he arrives in Rifthold, it would have bridged that gap so that it didn't feel so sudden and a little disjointed. Also, I feel like the scenes with Dorian were a little dragged out. By this third scene with him, I was like, okay, I get it. So I would have preferred getting some POV scenes from the king or Caltaine or just someone who actually has information and answers to what's going on, just to give us a little extra something so I could be like, what the heck, you know?
Yeah, I think a lot of our dislikes were similar. I mean, I have a slightly different take. So I'll start with my dislikes as a continuation of my review. At this point, obviously, I have come around on Rowan. And so this is not a Rowan hater thing. I know I give him a lot of shit in Heir of Fire, and I still stand by that. But similar to what Lorraine said, I feel like we skipped a step in their romantic development. In Heir of Fire, he's literally physically assaulting her and telling her the world would be better off if she had died, okay? And then they jump to being Cara Nom, and Rowan is swearing a blood oath to her, which is a lifetime oath that has rippling implications for his entire existence. And even that was a little bit of a jump for me, but I was like, okay, I'm on board with this. There's some peril there. There's some pressure from the situation with Maeve. And then for the first third of Queen of Shadows, Rowan is absent, which I know why he is. That's fine. And then he shows up randomly, and all of a sudden, it's hot and heavy. He's ready to rip a gold metallic nightgown off of her, and he wants to see what makes the Heir of Fire really burn. I complained about this a lot to Lorraine, so sorry, Lorraine. But she pointed out that even just having one or two short Rowan POV scenes of him, like maybe in Mistward, thinking about Aelin and how he missed her, would really help bridge the gap. And I just completely agree with that thought. When she said that, I was like, oh my God, absolutely. Because it just felt like the feelings developed out of nowhere. And you got this element of like, Rowan tried to fight it. He pushed them away. He didn't want to give in to them. There's something that's missing there that doesn't make the trajectory of the romantic relationship flow. And I don't think we can go back in time and do that. And I don't think it will be resolved in Empire of Storms. We just have to accept where they are now, which is hot and heavy. So I don't know. I think ultimately when we do an end of the series wrap up, that's going to be one of my top things. Also, I understand the plot trajectory of this book and the timing of it all makes sense. And because of the situation, I really feel like SJM's hands were tied, but I did find the Dorian POVs in this book repetitive. I feel like she'd be like, oh shit, it's been 100 pages and we haven't checked in with Dorian, but there's nothing to check in with. It's the same thing over and over again. And a few of those are good. They create peril, they create stress and tension, but I was just like, oh, okay. And I understand that you can't rescue Dorian earlier. It all has to be at the end, the big climax, but I did find it kind of repetitive, as I said. So yeah, this next one is sort of a like/dislike. I know there's still 3 massive books to go, so I would call this a soft dislike, but I cannot get over that Elena dropped in and was like, here's an ancient necklace and you need to become the king's champion. Go do what needs to be done. But she couldn't stay for like 6 more seconds and be like, by the way, me and Gavin never killed Erewhon. Oh, and the Duke, yeah, he's Erewhon. It drives me insane. I have a bit of a love-hate situation going on with all the god and goddesses and all the references to them. I was joking with Lorraine about how they can always send like a gentle little breeze or a caress to help someone, but they can't do literally anything else actually helpful. Like, the Dark Lord Erewhon has been raised, like a little help here would be nice. What the fuck are you guys doing up there? I'm hoping this gets addressed in the next 3 books. Now to my likes. All of the Easter egg tie-ins are just fucking phenomenal. The way the seeds of things were planted all the way back even in TOG, it's fucking off the charts. I totally see why people reread the series. Even reading this as critically as we do, I feel like I would still discover and notice things I hadn't noticed before and connections across the books. Similarly, the Inception coded plans, the wow factor in this book for all of Aelin's planning was just fucking epic. Each time something was revealed, I was just dumbstruck. And for a lot of this book, my jaw was just on the floor. I think we said that every episode. We were just like, oh my God, what? We can't possibly be any more surprised. Nope, surprise. My last 2 links are also related. The character development in this book was out of this world, and not just for Aelin, but for Rowan, Manon, Elide, Caltaine, Lysandra, really every damn buddy. I really cannot say enough good things about it. Similarly, I said this at the end of Heir of Fire, and I'll say it here again. The writing is just absolutely stunningly beautiful. I think I teared up in every exchange our characters had. I've talked about this before on the podcast. There's this way that authors end a chapter or a scene or a book, and it's just really meaningful and has this note of finality, and you feel this sense of hope and peace and joy or sorrow or whatever it is, evokes a strong feeling. And this book was just chock full of those.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it. Makes me tingly.
I agree. Those were very great thoughts. Thank you. And now we have some outstanding questions to share, aka things we still want to know. So, first, because it's so unclear, I just need clear, explicit confirmation of where the third word key is and if anyone actually has it in their direct possession. Second, I want to know more about Dorian's power since he has raw magic. This has been a question since Crown of Midnight when his power first manifests, and if it's connected to the word marks. Third, I want to know more about Erewhon's ultimate plan with the keys and why he wants Shadowfire specifically so bad. I feel like he's very keyed in on this. I don't really know why.
Yeah, that's right. What about that specifically?
Fourth, what is Maeve's role in all of this? And what has she been up to in Wendelin while Lorcan is out here in Rifthold? I'm sure he's required to report some information back to her. So I'm just curious about what she knows, because I am also of the opinion that Maeve knows there are Valg and is aware of Erewhon. I mean, obviously we had the Valg come to Wendelin, so she knows about it, and she was around during the first Valg wars with Brannon and Mala and all of them, apparently. And so why doesn't she seem concerned about it? And finally, what the fuck did Gavin and Elena actually do in the second Valg Force with Erewhon? How did they actually defeat them, and why can they not disclose any of this information to anybody?
Oh my God. If
It's really
that's not the
frustrating.
million-dollar question, seriously.
And that's all my questions.
Well, I'm sure we probably had many more, but that's all we had time to write down.
Yeah.
So since my repeated question of Arab Hamel, who, what, where, when, why, and how, has finally been answered, I am now going to amend it to Maeve. Who, what, where, when, why, how? What the fuck is she up to? What is she doing? I want to know about Maeve. Similarly, Lorcan also, what the fuck is he up to? What are his motivations? Is he a good guy or a bad guy? All of these pressing questions about him, and I need to know. Similarly to Lorraine, Gavin, Elena, really all the gods and goddesses. Most of my question is, what the fuck? Same with Brannon. What are you guys doing? Where are you? Why are you not helping? I don't understand it. I don't like it.
Same.
Also, I am still not satisfied with the information we got about the blue word mark on Selena's brow and the whole nameless is my prize thing. I refuse to let that go. So I think about it all the time. And in fact, Lorraine and I often will randomly be like, nameless is my prize. We'll just shout it to each other because I don't know. It's just a fun, cute thing we do. And I'm never going to let it go. And I have also, very proud of myself, resisted the urge to Google it because I have a feeling it will come up again later. Next, we've beat this to death already, but Manon and her gold ass eyes. What is up with her gold eyes? We talked about that a lot. So I want to know what's up. And last but not least, as Lorraine said, the word keys. I do not like the ambiguity surrounding their locations. I think it would be very easy to clarify where the third one is because that really has big implications for both sides. And I don't feel like it's ambiguous because they want to create mystery and intrigue. A little bit, I feel like, I don't want to say it's bad writing. That's not what it is. I don't know. Whatever it's unfolding right now, I'm not for it, basically.
Same. I agree with all those questions. So I am going to add those to my list as well.
Excellent.
Moving on to predictions and theories for the next book. So I have 4 predictions. First, Manon and the 13 are going to switch sides or sabotage Erewhon and Granny B.
Yeah, baby.
Second, Rowan and Aelin are going to be mates.
No way.
They're going to tell us, yes.
What would make you think that?
They're going to tell us. Third, there's going to be a prominent battle that takes place between Erewhon's forces and whatever army Aelin gathers. I don't know if it'll be like the final big battle, but there's going to be a pretty big battle that takes place. And then fourth, Maeve and Wendelin are going to come back into the picture because of the word keys, and she's gonna run some third-party interference or something. She's gonna come onto the chessboard and, like, make moves for the keys. That's what I think.
Oh, well, I mean, I would freaking hope so because you made it seem like she was the most powerful, scary being, and then she just disappeared.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think that's a good prediction. Okay, so my predictions were somewhat similar. Manon and the 13 will either kill Granny Bee and or take over the witches, or they will defect. There's going to be some
Ooh, yeah.
changes in the hierarchy of the witches. Next, Adian and Lysandra are going to hook up. They're going to have a fling.
Ooh,
Maybe
okay,
loving and
okay.
lasting, maybe temporary. I don't know, but there's going to be some romance between the two of them. Similarly, not that they're mates, but that Rowan and Aelin will finally do the deed. They freaking better. It's been teased too much in Queen of Shadows. And last but not least, Erewhon is going to do some really bad shit.
Insightful.
I
Wow.
know.
Mind blown.
Okay, I'm totally kidding. But in all seriousness, I do think that Erewhon will reveal himself instead of continuing to pretend to be Duke Parrington.
Yeah.
I don't know what will
Okay.
prompt that. That's sort of an outstanding question, too. Why is he not just like, hey, guys, I'm Erewhon? You know, why is he still pretending to be the Duke now that magic is free? But I think he will reveal
True.
himself.
Ooh, okay. I'm on board with this as well. All right. And that actually concludes all of our wrap up. And now we are officially done with Queen of Shadows, guys. I
Oh my,
cannot believe it.
I'm kind of sad.
Ah.
I was really happy to be done with it, but now I'm really sad.
I know. I'm mostly just really excited to get into Empire of Storms and see what's
Yes.
going on. But
Oh, totally.
anyways, we are very excited and very ready to jump into Onyx Storm. So definitely make sure you guys tune in for that. And if you haven't read Fourth Wing and Iron Flame yet, go do that really, really quick and then come back and join us for Onyx Storm whenever you can.
Yeah.
So thank you all for joining us for another episode of the Booked Up Fantasy podcast. As always, we are so glad you found us. So please leave us a review, subscribe to the podcast, and check out our social media pages to keep up with us on a daily basis. That's all we've got for you guys. So stay nerdy
And live a little.
and we'll catch you all soon with our Onyx Storm coverage. Bye.
Bye. And stay tuned for some bloopers. I know there's still 3 massive books to go. No, I said that wrong. I'm still Addison. Okay. Damn it. I haven't forgotten so long.